Thank you for having me, Sook News. I'm excited to be here. My name is Anna Maria Orlu. I am the current Miss Nigeria United Nations. As well as that, I am an actress, a model, and I also am the founder of Little Blessings Foundation, and we focus on orphanages in Nigeria. For me, I feel like it's about bridging the gap between like how the UN can help Nigeria and what ways we can like kind of be a part of the United Nations as a whole. I feel like every pageant queen picks a route that they go towards, right? So some people pick to bridge the gap between like health, bridge the gap, education. I've chosen to help children and orphanages. So after my last pageant, I actually was reached out to. They were like, you did a great job. I really loved how you presented yourself. Would you like to take part in this pageant? And of course I had to do my own research just to see like, is it for me? Is it not for me? I did hesitate a bit only because, you know, you need to just let it sit. I'm used to just making decisions really fast. So I like to just simmer down and kind of do my research. After that, the process was actually a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of girls from different states and just interact with them and just learn a lot from their background and a lot of the sisterhood and just having fun in that whole 1 week. It's a week process, so it's like boot camp. You're waking up, you're working out, you're visiting different places, you're doing some charity work, different segments like the swimsuit, also evening gown, traditional, all of those things. So it is a week of like intense work. It's been good. I think that for me, it's all about what you can do with the crown and not necessarily like the crown, right? The person wearing the crown. What is your interest? How passionate are you? And for me, it's always been important to relate with the everyday girl. Like just because I have a crown on my head does not mean that I cannot go feed the homeless. Doesn't mean that I cannot like be in the streets doing other things with like that may not be, you know, what I live like, you know. So I definitely think that it's opened my eyes to like different opportunities as well, and just like making sure that I am sticking to what my purpose is, and which I think that is my Little Blessings Foundation. I'm currently working on my new project called The Dream Day Out. So basically what it does, it takes children in the orphanages to like amusement parks, zoos, all the things that children don't get to do in those places because they only go to the school and come back. I want them to feel like children. I want them to be able to just not worry about the circumstances, even if it's just for like 5-6 hours. My foundation already donates clothes, shoes, school supplies already. So I just wanted to kick it up a notch and just like try something else that would just enrich their life a little bit. I think yes. For me, I was a foster kid for 10 years, and I think like I might not have got like the same childhood as everybody. Go to different things just because who was gonna fund that? You know, who was gonna take us to the zoo and the park and like things that we really wanted to do? And it was like, I feel like I didn't go to an amusement park till I was like nearly an adult. So I think with that, I wanted to just have something different. I know that a lot of people, and even in Nigeria, donate food and stuff like that, but how are we like enriching their lives? Like how are we making them like not always think about them circumstances of what they're living? Oh, that's a really good question. For me, I think that my family also have done a really good job with that as well. My dad is always in Nigeria, and he tried to instill that you're Nigerian no matter what. My mom as well. And my brother never spoke English to me when I was younger. So I was able to understand Ikwere and Igbo, which nobody even believes that I would understand that because I wasn't born and raised here. So I think my family as a whole really just they try as much as possible to instill that, even though we didn't live together to like a certain age, they still were just like that mental, your mom would be like, if you're around these people, they're not like you, like my mom would always say that, like, you can't follow these American people, they're not like you. So I think that's always in my head, that like, you're Nigerian, like, and I started coming back a lot more too. For me, it's always been, anything I'm doing, I have to start at home. I have to start at home because that's where it feels right. That's the purest way to do it for me. So even though now I could go try to be Miss Ireland, but I know that I've done Nigeria first, and that's who I represent at the end of the day, always. So how I knew I could act is because I started off singing, actually. I thought I was going to be a singer. I was very annoying to my family. I was singing everywhere we went. My mom actually encouraged it. She'd be like, go sing at church, go sing. I loved it. And then I got into musical theater because they were like, oh, you could sing, we need somebody who could sing. And that's how I got into acting, because with musical theater, you have to act and sing. So after, I was like, wow, like, I love this. This is what I want to do. I want to, watching yourself, it's so surreal, because how other people perceive your work, So if somebody sees something that I do and they're like, oh my God, like, I really, like, you touched me, like, I believed what you were saying. And that's the stories I want to tell. So I think, like, after the music theater, I was like, I want to act. Like, acting is the destination, and there might be other routes, and I'm just grateful that God blessed me with other talents. Like, I sing, I also dance, and modeling. I just feel like everything would lead me into, like, the final destination, which is acting. I actually did my first Igbo play like this year, which was, different because I've never done that. And also in LA, that's not a popular thing, right? So my last one was an Igbo play, and it was Emeka 1985. It was really, really dope. It was literally about a man who moved from Nigeria to America, and just that transition. Nobody really tells the story of how hard that could be. And for us, we don't even know because our parents did it, right? So that was a really provoking story to tell as well. I really enjoyed that. And I was also in this film called Marche. It's telling a Haitian story about like a Haitian woman, and I was the lead for that as well. There's a lot of films, and short films, feature films, movies that I've done that I feel like they always tell like provoking stories, and that's really what I love. Absolutely, and that's the main reason that after my projects with Little Blessing, I actually start filming a film on the 15th of January. My goal is to be able to work anywhere, and I don't want to just depend on Hollywood to fulfill what I need to do. If I have to be in India working, I will be there. But Nollywood has always been an interest of mine. I've had it on my goal every single year. Like, I need to be in Nollywood movies. So this is really a great opportunity for me to be here and just meet other creatives, directors, and storytellers, and really get to work here as well. I actually do. I work from home, so I have my laptop. But right now I am a social worker, but I work from home. I think that for me, just my background and my childhood, I never wanted to be a broke artist. Being an artist is so hard, where it's not stable. One day you have a role and you're working 5 days, and then another 2 months you might not have anything. You're auditioning, you're trying to get something. I just didn't want that to be my life. Like, I want to be able to help my family. I want to be able to take care of myself and not be a burden to my family. So I needed to have a job. I needed to have something that didn't demand maybe as much energy from me, where I could still kind of focus on the art as well. I would say definitely acting. If I can act every day and not have to do anything else, that's the goal. Like, that's really the goal. I rather not do any of those things, really. I think that entertainment has always been where I'm supposed to be, and I'm lucky enough that like I knew that from a young age. You know, a lot of people don't know what they want to do, and they spend a long time like trying to find it, explore different things. From a very young age, I already knew that, okay, you're gonna go to school, because you will not hear the end of it from your parents if you don't, but you're still gonna go and do entertainment. I think those stories, like you say, African American, they have been told a lot, and I think it's because that's people's experiences, right? A lot of people start from their experiences, and for me, I think I really want to tell a lot more about immigrant stories. I think that there's so much that happens when Nigerians or any other like immigrants leave their country and go to America, go to the UK. The things they experience, people don't even tell it enough. Like the things that my dad went through, I only know half of it. And I'm already like, whoa, this is a lot for one person. Especially Nigerians are so resilient, like they can do anything, and just to make sure that they survive in that country. So I definitely want to tell a lot of immigrant stories. I think it's really, in 2024, it's how she was treated was terrible. Like, Nigerians are everywhere. So for me, when I first saw that, I was thinking, lived in Ireland all my life. If somebody told me that I couldn't compete for Miss Ireland, why not? Why? I have been living there all my life. So I think that it definitely made me feel like, are we moving forward? Like, are we actually, like, as a society, that shouldn't be a thing in 2024. But I'm just happy that she actually went back to her people, because those are the first people who are going to accept you first, right? And look where she is now. So I think that everything probably led her to where she was supposed to be. I think some of the misconceptions is that we're not very smart. We're just pretty, and or some of them are like, oh, they just did it just to have a crown and have the attention or whatever. And I mean, some of those things might be true for some other people, but for me, I feel like I'm a pretty regular girl. Like, I feel like I like to do the same things. One of the things I will say that people will automatically stuck up. Like, we're stuck up. We can't be in certain places. We can't talk to certain people, and that doesn't apply for me. I feel like there are places that I've been, and I'm like, maybe this is not where I would like to come again, but I'm here now, so let me integrate myself. So some of those misconceptions, I think it doesn't apply to every queen. And my daily, like how I live daily, I feel like I work. I do a lot of presenting. I'm also a host, so I do a lot of red carpet events and stuff like that. So I always like to make sure that I am in the entertainment scene, because I know that, like, that's where I want to be. I take care of myself a lot. I do work out a lot. I don't eat the best because I work out a lot, so I compensate for that. But yeah, I think I live a pretty regular life. I just take care of myself a lot. The rest part lacks. I think probably don't sleep enough, but it's just the passion, really. It's the passion to want to do all these things. I think that even my social life is actually pretty good. Like, I go out pretty regularly with my friends, and I travel a lot. I think traveling is really my safe haven. It's where, like, I feel like, okay, this is where I get to do something I want to do. Like, traveling and working out, those are the two things that I'm like, okay, this keeps me sane. But time-wise, I think I have good time management skills. That's another thing too. I think in this industry, you have to have time management skills and just prioritize what you want to do, because you're not going to have time for everything, and tomorrow is another day. So before Miss Nigeria United Nations, I started Little Blessings. So I started Little Blessings like maybe 7 months before I actually did the pageant. So I already had that going where I was supplying shoes, clothes, things like that. So then Dream Day Out came after I became the queen. And I think my mission is just to keep adding initiatives that are gonna enrich these kids' lives, right? Next thing, I want to start looking for grants to fix the orphanages up, because some of them are in such a bad condition. And I think that if we're setting these children up for success, it starts at home. It starts with the basic needs. Like, if you don't have clothes to wear, you're not going to go to school and feel like you want to learn. If your environment is traumatic, you're not going to have that space to want to even be a doctor or a nurse or whatever it is that they might want to be, right? So I think it's just, I want to start with the basic needs. Like, your home needs to be together. Some of the orphanages have holes in them, like water coming, and the kids are comfortable. They just hop over the bucket. And I'm looking around like, wait, this is okay? So I just want to start off with like building that up, and then go and add more and more orphanages that I'm sponsoring. So start getting some from the east. Right now I have in Port Harcourt as well. So just adding more and seeing how we can make a difference that way. Some of the challenges is just working with different people, right? So these things that I'm organizing, I have to reach out to the resort park. I have to reach out to the orphanage, the workers there. I have to like really just work with them. And sometimes, you know, when they hear your accent, the bill goes up. So things like that are really challenging, because it almost means that I have to try to get somebody to do stuff for me instead of I like to do stuff for myself. Like, I'm pretty like dominant in that way. Like, I want to call the resort park and organize stuff. I want to call the sponsorships and make those deals myself. But sometimes it's challenging because I might have to depend on somebody else. Like, for instance, we're getting a bus, right? And we're getting a bus, and I have to have somebody else call because it'd be cheaper when they call. But if I call, when they hear me, they're like, oh, 500K, like the price goes up. So those challenges is what like really bothers me. I think it's just believing that anything is possible. I think that I truly like believe that like I have to make it. And also like your background as well should motivate you, because I didn't come from like an easy background, and for me, I was like, it cannot get down there, so it has to go up. Going to school was very like beneficial to me because I was able to like actually make money, take care of myself, and sponsor my goals. You have to be able to sponsor your goals. Just for acting, you need headshots, you need show reels, like all those things cost money. So I think just first thing, just believing that anything is possible, and it doesn't matter what anybody else tells you. Like, nobody can tell me today that I'm not gonna make it, and I would believe them. And surrounding yourself with people who really like believe that about you too. Like, it took me years to even tell my dad that I was into entertainment, because I had to block out that negativeness. And it's not that they mean it, but you know, African parents, they're focused on stability, and entertainment doesn't sound very stable. So I don't want anybody to project their negativity on me to make me feel like I'm not gonna be where I wanna be. So that's one thing, I had to just block that out. My dad found out that I was Miss Nigeria like after I won, not even through the process. Because I don't want anyone to tell me that, oh, you know, you might not get it, you might not know. Why not? Why don't I have those opportunities? So that's why it's really important for me to like try to create those opportunities for other people as well. I think for me, one of the things I've had to lose is some friendships. Just because where you are, not a lot of people are supposed to be there with you. And that was hard for me to accept that. Certain people I might have known for a long time are not aligned with my future or aligned with where I am now. So those are things that I'm still like trying to balance, like, because having good people around you is really important, and having people who are going to always uplift you, speak life into you, and just make you feel like you are where you're supposed to be. So I think like that was a main thing for me, where it's like, okay, you may not be able to be around certain places anymore as well. Like, I had to also, and I'm still assessing that, like where you can be and where you can't be. There's certain places now that I feel like as a queen, like you really shouldn't be there. Like it's low-key like not where you can associate with anymore. Some of the upsides is being in certain rooms where you wouldn't have been able to be in as maybe like a regular person, right? Being able to speak to people who are actually change makers, being able to get sponsorships and fundraising, things like that. It's harder. It was harder for me when I wasn't a queen, but I was still trying. I did online sponsorships and everything. So I think that being a beauty queen gets you into different rooms so you can actually speak and people can hear your voice more and hear your initiatives, hear the things that you want to do. Oh, wow. First of all, I love how dramatic Nigerians are. Like, I think it makes my day. Sometimes we're just driving and I'm just looking and everybody is just, it's like a movie. Like, and I love how successful Nigerians are. Like, when you leave Nigeria and you see Nigerians in different countries, like, we are doing amazing things. There's like, out of all the African countries, I just love how determined, how hardworking, resilient, like things now that I see some of my friends in Nigeria do, I'm like, wow, this took you all day. They're like, oh, no, it's no problem. Like, it's not a big deal. But for me, I'm like, that's all day. So I just love how resilient we are, how nothing can stop us. Like, we are literally unstoppable in every country that we go to. And even some of my Ghanaian friends would be like, I love Nigerians. I love how you guys can just work so hard, but also play so hard too. So yeah, and the food. I can eat.